Well, all right. Welcome back to As It Should Be. Paul Bertolino here in the world famous As It Should Be studios.
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact that Crystal Durant is here in the world famous As It Should Be studios.
She's right there.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Can you see me?
Come on.
Hello.
And Tommy Von Voigt.
He's over there.
And this is very significant, though. Tommy Von Voigt's presence is very significant because he chose the album we are reviewing today.
I did.
Yeah. Doing our reviews, round robin, we all choose. It's Tommy's turn. And, well, he chose Empire by Queensry from 1990, and that is what we are going to be talking about today.
Yep.
Okay? And we are going to be starting with Crystal.
What?
Yes.
Do it!
We're going left to right here.
How many of you people out there like reviewing Queensry?
I do.
I know. I prefer Queensryche too. Not like it as much as Queensryche Sheer Heart Attack.
Jesus Christ.
Your heart attack. Yeah. Queensry. All right. So oddly enough, Thomas had a housewarming party last week.
It was about a week ago.
When we're taping today, it was about a week ago.
A week ago. And I don't even remember how this conversation happened, but this album came up, and I said, I'm not familiar with it. What song should I listen to first? And you said...
I don't remember. I was
and that
overwhelmed.
song isn't even on the album.
I was overwhelmed. My social battery was depleted.
Oh, right. Yeah, it was a party. So I listened to it, that particular song, which I'll get to. Oh, Jet City Woman.
Oh, yes.
That's what it was. Yeah, Jet City Woman. And then I said, well, I might as well listen to this whole fucking thing. And then he chose it after the fact.
Having forgotten that we even had that conversation.
Yeah, so he chose it after I did that.
So you'd already done your...
I kind of did.
You'd already done your research.
Yeah, but I didn't.
I apologize for forgetting that conversation, but just for people who aren't aware, this is what I consider a huge group of people.
Yeah.
So any more than this, and I'm just like...
And that was... Yeah, he had an apartment full of people.
Oh.
Yeah.
And he has a very large apartment, and it was a large
Still
apartment
full.
that was full of people.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Really
I
nice
was
apartment.
scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I checked out the whole thing, but, casually, I wasn't thinking about it. I was just like, I'm on the train, this guy's having a shit fit, let me listen to the whole thing. So I did. And then I remembered, oh my God, Silent Lucidity. I remember that song because it was all over MTV all of the time. Which, given what the song is, initially you wouldn't think of it as being a constant rotation MTV song, but it was a very typical video for the time, and it's a good song. I like it. It's pretty cool. So I just wrote stuff. I didn't go song by song. So first, let me say that this is not Crystal music, just like jazz is not Tommy music and reggae is not Paul's music. But I give it a listen because that's what we do here. We turn people on to other stuff, especially you. And I think it's good to listen to things that you wouldn't ordinarily listen to. That's how I've lived my life. So I did a little bit of research, a little bit of background. I didn't realize that this was their big breakout album. Like, this is the one that put them on the map.
Well, they had other successful albums before that, but this is like their fucking Purple Rain.
Right, yeah. It was huge.
The previous one, Operation Mindcrime, was really well received.
Yeah,
Right,
that was in
and
1999.
Now that, I remember hearing the album title all the time because I thought it was a cool title, Operation Mindcrime. That's pretty cool. But I just, whatever song was on MTV or whatever at the time, I don't remember. What was the hit off of that, or hits?
On Mindcrime?
Yeah.
There weren't any actual real hits on it.
Off that?
No.
Okay. But a lot of people I know listen to that record, so I still didn't listen to it. I just like the title. Because, again, not Crystal music. So, for this, I'm sorry, my contact lenses are, like, all dirty and I'm going nuts. Best I Can, I like that. Sort of like AOR-ish to me, right? Jet City Woman I like, because of course, when you said Jet City Woman, how did I hear it in my head?
Jet City Woman!
Or, yeah, I heard it ELO style though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jet City Woman!
And then
Soul down so down,
City woman.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then when I listened to it, and I was like, oh, well, of course it's not like that at all. But I like it. It's a good single. Another Rainy Night, Empire, Hand on Heart. Anybody listening, they're up and like adrenaline-y. Adrenaline-ish.
Ish.
You know?
Yeah. Adrenaline-esque.
Adrenaline-esque. And then Silent Lucidity is, the ballad. It brings it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, but it just brings it down. And I remember that when Silent Lucidity came out, some people were like, these two idiots I know.
We're sitting right here.
Not you two idiots. These other idiots from back in the day. One of them thought that it was Pink Floyd.
That's
which is not a far stretch.
It's
not a stretch. But I'm thinking, you didn't recognize that voices not being David Gilmour or Roger Waters? Like, hello?
There's that. But I mean, hey, have a cigar, so.
Yeah. So I know that this was critically praised, right? To me, it was very accessible for somebody whose music is not. It is not. So I'm thanking you for letting me know that song, because otherwise I would have completely ignored this. Like, why would I ever listen to it? And, overall, it was good. I also don't think of it as being like metal. Even though
I would agree.
It's not even, I can't say that it's metal pop or that it's pop even, but it's not metal as it was categorized. Because, when Silent Lucidity came out, I was like, okay, like, these bands have their ballads, but even then I was like, these guys don't sound super metal to me. Metal? Jeff Tate's vocal, very melodic, right? The instrumentation, excellent riffs, sweet riffs.
Sweet.
As Dave would say. Yeah. The drumming was good. The bass was good. It was up there when it was supposed to be, and in the back when it was supposed to be. I think that Jet City Woman and Resistance were sort of anthemic. Not totally. I would imagine, like, at a show. Did you ever see them live?
I'll explain.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would imagine at a show that they would be slightly anthemic. Not like We Will Rock You anthemic, but somewhat anthemic. Thank you. Another Rainy Night, Without You, and Hand on Heart. Very introspective. Like somebody actually sat down and thought about this, as opposed to, let me write a hit. I feel as though they came from experience. Some heartache maybe. I don't know. And what else? I know that they're, in my research, that they're anniversary editions that added bonus tracks and some live stuff or whatever. And I halfway listened to one of them, and then I was like, okay, that's enough.
You're like, now I know why this isn't on the
They
album.
are not. I think I actually even messaged at one point. I told everyone, just ignore everything past track whatever.
Yeah. Tommy took care to make sure we didn't listen past the actual album.
Yeah, you wanted anything to do with that bonus material. It's just a waste of your
thanks.
time.
Yeah, because I'm always willing to give it a listen in case there's something new or different, or I don't know, might turn me on, but it did not. So I would have to say overall, it was not a slog, but it's definitely not my scene, man. But I liked it. I wasn't dying listening to it. So
Itch.
Yeah, and it wasn't metal. So
Okay.
it was good. It was fine.
If that's the way you feel about it.
That's the way I feel. That's the way I feel about it. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go to a little bit of a break, and then we'll come back, and I will tell you, how I felt about it. All right. We are back. And it is my turn.
Back in the Queensry groove.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, that's right. Fuck you, Paul, because now every time I think about Kiss, my brain automatically goes back to the episode that we did, and when you were like, "Oh yeah, man," when I hear, I just die laughing. It's so funny. Oh, good stuff. If you missed that episode, you have to watch the Kiss Songs That We Love episode, because
that is a good one.
That is a stone cold classic. Yeah.
But all right, so
Queensryche.
All right, I very much remember this coming out. I was Mr. 120 Minutes at the time, and not Mr. Headbanger's Ball, so this was not my jam, and so therefore I didn't listen to it really. I mean, I knew Silent Lucidity because it played all the time on TV, and that was what I had. I mean, honestly, Jet City Woman even, I don't remember it at the time.
Yeah.
I remember it by title, which I guess I've already, that's what I said in my notes about that song, so I've just stolen my own punk here. But anyway, I'm going track by track, as I tend to do. An opening song. Okay. Best I Can. All by the numbers mid-late 80s tropes. The air raid siren vocal, the same cliche tremolo dive bomb lead guitar you hear on every single record. There are moments in the verse melody that I really like, though. And I can't really think of what those moments are, but there were the moments that came up in this melodically where it would be one of this, like, the note he chose vocally against the chord change. It was like, oh, but I like that, though. Anyway, so, I have it listed. It's the line, I'm gonna make the best of what I have. It's that, I don't know how the line goes right now, but that's the lyric. That part. Okay. Anyway, the next song. The Thin Line. Now, this is much better. Still not my thing, but this doesn't sound cookie cutter to me. Jeff is singing in a different voice, which I'm very happy about. I'm really glad that he's mixing it up, as is the band. Melodically and harmonically strong chorus, and overall a more interesting track. Jet City Woman. I remember this song more by title than the song itself. Like Thin Line, the chorus is super strong and melodic, but with added swagger. And that's kind of all I said about that. But up next, Della Brown. Very proto-90s, almost vaguely industrial sounding to me. The bass on this album in particular is pointing directly at the decade to come. Lyrically, this song is basically moody and perhaps more empathetic, like a Rolling Stone. Next track, Another Rainy Night Without You. Not an Eddie Rabbitt song. The 80s come rushing back with the harmonized maiden licks and a big MTV circa 1985 chorus. One thing I'm noticing at this point in the record is that almost any of these songs could have been singles. If not in 1990, then certainly in the couple of years prior. Next up we have Empire and Resistance. The next couple of songs are basically just 1999 metal songs that have nothing distinct enough about them to warrant anything to any individual comment. I listen to those songs. I'm like, I tried so hard to like pick something out to say. I'm like, okay, next song, Silent Lucidity. Now this single I remember. It was shown on MTV with great regularity. I disliked it at the time because it just came off as bloated in that November Rain sort of way. Listening now, I still kind of feel that way, but the we'll be watching over you. Chorus is kind of magical. I must admit, I cannot resist that. I cannot.
It gotcha.
You know?
Yeah.
Hand on heart. Just sounds like Warrant to me. There are even passages where Jeff Tate sounds like Janie Lane on that song. That's just how I hear that. And I might be completely insane, but that's what I heard.
You're completely insane.
Okay.
Go on.
One and Only is the next song. Back to songs that could easily have been singles. Again, big, strong chorus. Surprised they didn't make this a single and instead buried it deep into the album. And then the final track, Anybody Listening. An 8-minute closer that starts out sounding, again, to me, like Warrant, then gets big and epic with a big chorus and the guitarist wheedly wing on top of a mountain with his hair blowing back in the wind, or so it sounds. Then it goes back to the Warrant part, then it goes back to the big chorus and more wheedly wing on top of the mountain before it finally drops out into a minute and a half of ambience. I guess so you can sit in the wake of the storm and contemplate the life change you've just experienced. I was just glad the song turned out to be 6 minutes instead of 8.
Wheedly wheedling.
Wheedly wee. Okay, but anyway, it's not a bad record. I'm sure if this is your steez, then this is probably a really great record. I can totally understand why you'd be into it, but it ain't my steez.
Steezes matter.
Steezes matter. That's the thing too. I mean, I went through this and I'm like, yeah. Even though even though I could just sit here and like really just this and this about it, I'm also like, but this, like you said, it wasn't a tough listen. It was pretty accessible.
No, yeah.
You know, the choruses were catchy. It's not like it's a bad record.
No.
Nothing bad is happening here.
Yeah.
It's just things are happening here that I don't gravitate towards. That's all.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. But anyway, so there you go. That is how I felt about it. Warrant! No, kidding.
Hi, this is Jeff Tate from Queensry, and I'd like to give a big thanks to all of the men and women serving the U.S. military now. Come home soon. Come home safe.
All right.
Yeah.
We must be back.
What's up, Tommy? Tell us about it.
With my turn to talk about Queensryche.
Your choice.
Have you ever heard this album before, Tommy?
I have, and in anticipation, I've got my finest sleeveless shirt on to talk about Queensryche.
Is that a thing for them?
Nah, it's just no. I associate this particular time period and this kind of style of music with dudes that basically would have dressed exactly like the way I've been dressing for the past year and a half.
First, let me ask you.
Yeah.
How old were you when you first heard this?
Let me get into it.
Okay.
Let me get into it.
All right.
Okay. There's a lot here.
Okay.
I do want to say.
Oh, and you're wingering it.
I'm freeballing this one.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Oh, for fuck's sake. If the camera wasn't rolling, you would have laughed your ass off at that
I'm
comment.
laughing internally.
It's an inner laugh. Inside laughter.
Spiritually, she's laughing.
Spiritually, she's
I'm spiritually laughing.
I'm completely going to be just pulling this out of thin air. And I was like, I was going to sit down. I was going to write a whole bunch of stuff. And I was like, I don't really need to write a bunch of stuff because this record is all just a lot of emotions and feelings and everything. I'm just going to see what comes up as we discuss it. I do want to preface this by saying that I find it, I guess the best way I could put this is I find it fascinating when I hear somebody like, for example, Paul saying, all the tropes of the late 80s, the air raid siren vocals and the dive bomb guitars, or he's referring to Wheedly Wheedly Wee on top of a mountain with your hair blowing back and everything. What's amusing to me about this is so often you'll hear people sum up, I guess, the tropes of 80s metal and stuff like that, with that same kind of dismissive kind of approach. And it's like, but that's really hard to do. To sing that well and to play guitar that well is insanely difficult, and I've spent like basically over 2 decades trying to achieve it, and finally had to get a singer to do it for me and a lead guitarist to do it for me while I just write the fucking songs. That's how hard it is to do. So when people And I'm not like mad. I find it
Yeah.
interesting when people just dismiss those things as like problematic. It's like, yeah, but those are literally my personal goals.
The thing is that there are different. Some people listen to music and it's like, if it's harder to do, then it's better. And other people are like, I don't give a fuck how hard it is to do. If this music touches me or not.
I'm not saying it's better because it's harder.
It's like, Gene Simmons once saying, why do you insist on listening to these bands that don't make money? I don't give a fuck how much money they make. I give a shit whether I like the sound of the music or not.
To be clear, though, I hear what you're saying, but it's not that I like those things specifically because they are difficult to do. I just happen to love those things, and it turns out, oops, they're extremely difficult to do. Good luck figuring that out, Tommy. So it's like things that I happen to love that people sum up as problematic, and they're also extremely difficult to pull off, and I'm like, well, fuck, man, if I'd have spent all that time and managed to achieve it, people would be like, oh, it's just all he's doing is wanking on his guitar. But it's hard!
But here's the thing. I think that a lot of people who will say that just as a blanket statement after not really listening to something, it's because it was so prevalent at the time.
Oh, it was everywhere.
And so I feel as though people are like, oh my God, not this diddly widdly blah 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 again, da 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 da. So I don't think that because they're not saying that shit's so fucking easy to do and I'm fucking sick of hearing it. No, I don't think anybody is taking anything away from the talent that it takes to do that, because clearly you can't just pick up a guitar and do that in 5 minutes.
No.
That takes time, that takes talent. So I don't think, me personally, that doesn't even enter into it for me. It's either I like it or I don't. And this album, it's fine. But again, like the whole overall steez, not my steez. And any musician, I don't care if you're Meg White or
Neil Peart.
Like,
yeah.
There's a certain amount of talent for what you're doing, what they're doing, and I'm never dismissive of talent.
Yeah.
That's not my thing. It's like, I don't, you noodly diddly dee your ass off. I don't care. Like, oh my God, the Grateful Dead is so great. Why? Oh, the guitar, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, ugh, I can't stand it. Now, did I say that those guys weren't talented? No. I just don't like it.
To be clear, the both of you, I'm not looking for either of you to get defensive over your opinion on this.
I'm not.
I'm simply pointing out how I find that fascinating when people say that.
But the thing is that the difficulty of it is immaterial. Because music is not an endurance test or a technicality like showboat. It's music. It's just, it's here.
I genuinely think you guys are missing the point I'm trying to make. Perhaps I'm not expressing it well enough.
No, you're crystal clear about it, and I understand.
DJ crystal clear.
What I'm just saying is, for the people out there who might feel a certain kind of way, like I blah blah blah, who are not thinking about the talent that it takes to do that. That's what I'm speaking to.
But I can't imagine that anybody misses that.
No matter,
even if you think that is the worst shit you've ever heard in your life, I can't imagine that you would miss that.
I think you might be surprised.
Yeah, because there are a lot of people who are just like, this fucking sucks. And they're not thinking about the time that went into learning those things and doing it. Because if it was so easy, then you'd be fucking doing it. And you're obviously not doing it. So shut the fuck up.
But,
calm down.
Now, I think I think one thing that comes into play here is a certain amount of not being able to differentiate the good from the bad if what you're listening to is not your bag. And we talked about this with when we reviewed the Warrant record, and you were jokingly saying, I can't tell the difference between this or Cinderella or Poison or fucking Motley Crue or whatever the hell it is. And that was a lot of those bands that got lumped into the glam metal genre, derogatorily called hair metal. People would jokingly in their reviews say, yeah, but anyway, so check out this new album by Whitesnake. If you like Motley Crue, you'll love this new Poison song. And not actually name the fucking band they're talking about. And it's like, well, you're basically what you're doing is you're revealing the fact that you don't actually like this, so you can't tell the difference between something that was written by Janie Lane versus something that might have been written by Jim Gillette from Nitro. And I assure you there's a fucking difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When we talked about the Warrant album, I actually kind of said something to that effect, because that music, if that music isn't your steez, then it turns into this thing where and I literally said this in the video, where you look at ladybugs and you think they all look alike, but to the ladybugs you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't look like Charlie. What the fuck are you? You're fucking insane.
Yeah.
But so it's kind of like that. If you're not in that, if that's not something that is part of your sensibility,
You're not
then
seeing
then
it.
you just perceive it differently and you don't catch those things.
Yeah.
Right. Well, all right. Enough of that. So on to the actual album. So here's the thing with Queensryche with me. So when this record dropped, I was in junior high, and
It was 1990, right?
1990. So I would have been 11, going on 12 that year. And I like to say I could sum this up as saying I basically grew up living next door to Queensryche, but never got to know them. I don't know if that makes sense in a way. I didn't physically live next door to Queensryche, but like that's the best way I can describe this. Crystal asked me earlier, well, how old were you first time you heard this record? That's almost impossible for me to really answer, because it was almost like I've always been aware of it but never actually paid attention other than periodically waving at my neighbor.
Right.
But yet I knew so many people.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah, so many people who were older that were like so hip to this. Older teenagers. My mom's friend, Tina Ciceri, who cut our hair, she was a Queensryche fanatic. Occasionally I'd go to the store with her, and we'd be driving in her Nova, and she'd be listening to Queensryche, and she'd be like, oh my God, this new Queensryche record, Jeff Tate is the best singer.
He's like butter.
And like, oh my God.
That's
and
a
like,
Long Island accent
and
for you.
Long Island.
and her boyfriend, they were never married, but her boyfriend, Dave, who I never got to meet. He had a band that they played in the basement, and I never got to go down there. And I'm sure
never got to go down to the basement?
And I'm sure I never got to go down to the basement. But I'm sure they were playing fucking Queensryche covers and shit, playing stuff off Mindcrime. And unfortunately, she's since passed away. She died of breast cancer.
R.I.P.
But it's funny how I find that my former hair cutter and her boyfriend that I never met played a little bit of a musical influence in me.
Yeah.
It was wafting in the air.
Yeah, but it basically was in the air. It was like Queensryche was always in the air, and obviously the video for Silent Lucidity played a lot on MTV, and I was watching a lot of MTV. And I was aware of Jet City Woman because it was getting a lot of radio play. And it was just kind of like, yeah, that's, Silent Lucidity, that's a pretty song. And Jet City Woman is a rock song on the radio. And this was a point in time when there was just so much goddamn amazing music that was coming out and that I was exposed to, that you could be basically ridiculous and stupid about it, like the way people were in the late 70s about disco sucks, only rock and roll, rock is for dinosaurs, only disco. It's like, you guys are a bunch of fucking jerk-offs. You're surrounded by some of the most amazing music that ever came out. You can like all of it.
Yeah.
You don't have to pick and choose. It's just all so good. You have no idea how good you have it. And I think 1990, 1991, in similar ways, there was a lot of that kind of vibe going on. For people who were of the right age, you were starting to check out to some shit, but for a lot of stuff I was listening to, there was just so much saturation of such amazing stuff that I'd be like, yeah, Jet City Woman, whatever, I'm looking forward to this other song hopefully will come on. Or it's like, all I wanted to do was listen to the Ramones, it's like I'm ignoring that.
Right.
So it was like one of those things where like I was always kind of aware. Now, later on, much later on, I forget what even got me onto it, but at one point, like, Silent Lucidity came on somewhere, and I was just like, oh god, I always love this fucking song. And then I was like, I should put on the record that's on. I never really cared about Queensryche. Let me check that out. And then I listened to this record, and I'm just like, and I'm going, I have it opened up over here, so I'm going down. It's like, best I can. Well, I know this song. Why do I know this song so well? And then like the thin line, like, this kind of sounds familiar too, but I don't think this got any radio play. I don't think this was a single. And then Jet City Woman comes on, and I'm like, oh god, I've always loved this song. Did I just not realize I loved this song when I was younger? And then Adela Brown, it's kind of slow, and I'm like, whatever for now. And then Another Rainy Night comes on, and I'm like, oh god, I've always loved this song, but how do I know this song so well? And then Empire, I'm like, oh, this song kicks ass. Why do I know this one so well? And then Resistance and Silent Lucidity, and I'm like, ah. Hand on Heart, love that one too. And even anybody listening, I'm like, why do I know this one so fucking well? Like, what in the hell is going on with this record? And then I listen to it again and listen to it again, and you both nodding because I know that you've both personally experienced this exact same phenomenon, just with different artists with different bands. And then so then I listen to this record again, and then I listen to it again, and I'm like, well, I listened to the record from before this, and that's Operation Mindcrime, and everyone's always like, oh, Mindcrime, that's the record. If you like Queensryche, it's Mindcrime. I listen to that, and I'm like, it's no Empire. And then like a month later, I come back to Mindcrime, and I'm listening to it, I'm like, oh, but I do like these songs really a lot on this. And I come back like 2 months later, I'm like, I'm kind of getting like the story flow of this concept album. I'm not really sure there's any skippers on here. And then I listen to another like month later, I'm like, fuck, I think I really, really love this Mindcrime record. But Empire, though, is still... And then, like, I went back and I started checking, like, their earlier stuff, like their first EP and then their first 2 albums. And I'm like, wow, there's stuff on these albums that there's, like, standouts on this, too. And this all, like, led to me eventually pushing really hard to do a Queensryche tribute show.
Oh, shit.
Where I had to work my ass off. And I played like a third of the guitar solos in that set. And it was like we played 17 Queensryche songs, and it was like 3 months of me just dying. My fingers blisters every other day, like new blisters and new spots.
You got blisters on your fingers.
And we did it. And I even got to sing Silent Lucidity.
Where was this at?
And we did that at Lucky 13. And I realized, I was like, I think I'm apparently like a huge goddamn Queensryche fan.
It snuck up on you.
It snuck up on me.
When did that happen?
This was like 2 years ago, I think we did that.
Oh, really? Okay. I didn't know the timeline, so I'm thinking you're still on Long Island. doing this shit.
Yeah.
No. This was like very, very recent that this all like hit me.
Who else was in the band?
Steve
course.
from Witch Force.
Steve and Steve.
And we got John Longstreth, who's this incredible technical death drummer. And I think I got I think it might have been Stan on bass for that. But it was fiendishly difficult, but we did it, and it was just like my love of Queensryche kept growing and growing and growing. And I just realized, like, my God, I love this Empire record so much, and like I feel like somehow I wasn't yet the kind of person that I needed to be to appreciate this album to the level I do now. When it came out, I just wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
But it's not like I didn't like it. It's just like, I was like, oh, that's something that's on, and that's a pretty song. And that was it. But like, the stuff must have just sunk its hooks into me at an early age, so that when I went back and revisited this record, I was like, I love this album, and apparently I've always loved this album and I just didn't know I did.
Yeah.
Is that some weird shit?
I know there's infinitely more going on in that record than I caught, and certainly much more than I even made reference to. I feel like that's one of those records that probably needs more time than, well, you yourself didn't get as much out of it as you ultimately would.
Yeah.
At first.
Yeah.
We've only kind of had this assignment over the past week. So, which is neither here nor there. I mean, basically, even if you had given us this album 3 months ago, we wouldn't have probably had the time with it that we would really kind of need to maybe get to a place with it like you did.
Yeah, but even if you did, though, I mean, it still comes back down to the all-important Steez, and that it might be that you might have found more depth and nuance in it because it's loaded with it, but I don't think that... I wouldn't expect either of you to be like, and now all of a sudden, next time you do a Queensryche tribute show, I need to be in it. Like,
I want songs.
I want to do this one. I'm going to learn how to play bass just to do it. Like,
but you know what? If you do one, now I need to sing a song.
See, there you go.
I'll do it. Yeah.
But
I also do
the challenge alone.
Yeah. But first EP only.
EP.
Actually, there was a bit of behind the scenes drama that I'll go into detail about the whole first EP only kind of shit.
Maybe the warning. Maybe.
Yeah. So you do know some shit, but there is honestly there's a lot going on here, and it's kind of hilarious that we got on a little bit of we digressed a bit talking about glam metal, because glam metal this is not, and while there might be some trappings of that with the operatic vocals, the high pitched stuff, the very impressive technical guitar work, that was just par for the course amongst pretty much any rock or metal adjacent band of that era. You almost had to come correct with certain ingredients to be taken seriously. So you're going to find some commonality, but glam metal, this absolutely isn't. They started out as a prog power metal band, and then just got proggier and more commercially accessible as things went on. Unfortunately, after this record, I am out.
I've never even heard of any of the albums past this one.
I am as out as you can get.
Well, there's Mindcrime 2. So that one I know about. I'm aware of it.
I listened to, 25, 30 seconds of every song on the albums after this because I was just, this guy's shadowboxing on the train. I need something to listen to. And I was like, oh, no.
Elvis has left the building at that point.
No good.
They did one more album after this one with the actual original lineup. I think it's Here in the Now Frontier. I don't know. It came out in or Promised Land. I don't know. They did one or two maybe with the original lineup that were very much them now trying to resonate with what they expected a 90s audience would like.
Yeah.
And that was a friggin' step. And then Chris DeGarmo, one of the two lead guitarists and the primary creative engine for this band, he bounced. He's like, I am done with the music industry. I've said what I need to say. I'm going to go learn how to be a pilot now. And he just walked away, and once that happened, any follow-up albums after that, like in the early 2000s and all through that, when they might have been trying to course correct and get back to their original sound, they didn't have the juice. They didn't have that creative spark, unfortunately. And I hate sitting here now basically trash talking a band that put out some music that I deeply, deeply love so much. But they just lost the magic, man. They just did. It's just not there anymore.
That's talking truth. That's not talking trash.
Yeah,
it is true.
One of those. A lot of bands like this. You lose one of the wheels.
That's
like we've talked about. The Who, the Doors, any of these bands.
Everybody.
You lose one of the. Lose one of those wheels. It's just it's a different vehicle.
And that was a majorly important wheel. And then things got even worse. Like Jeff Tate's vocals started suffering. They started declining because understandably you're not going to be able to sing like that for the rest of your life. And there's arguments to be made that he maybe take the best care of his voice. You hear that kind of crap a lot. And then there was a lot of personality issues, or he got his own management and the rest of the band might have had their own management, and that they didn't get along or some stupid shit, and then they were at odds. He's like, I'm done with chugga chugga, I don't want to play metal anymore. And then so then they had a very famous fracturing where he went off and did his own version of Queensryche, and then they had Queensryche without him, where they got Todd LaTorre on vocals, and then they were suing each other. And then when I went to see Queensryche, it was the Jeff Tate version of Queensryche, featuring Robert Sarzo from Hurricane and his brother Rudy Sarzo from every band in the 80s. And
Robert and Rudy.
And,
exactly.
I think Simon Wright, the guy that was in AC/DC and told not to play any fills, and then he went and did Dio, and then they had him. I got to hang out backstage with all those guys.
Oh wow!
At, Gramercy
so you
Theater.
met Jeff Tate?
I got to talk to Jeff Tate.
Was he?
Jeff was a perfectly nice guy.
Okay, because I've heard nothing but bad shit about him.
I've heard a lot of bad stuff about him too. I mean, it was a very harmless meeting. It wasn't like I was quizzing him on anything. I was just, hey man, nice to meet you. Good, enjoying the show. And he was talking to the person I was with because he knew her from way back. And
did you get a picture?
No, I'm not really into
You're
that.
not a photo and autograph guy.
Right.
You didn't walk up and
I'm not into the meet and greets. I don't
need
need proof that I met him. I met Jeff Tate. That's what matters. I know I did. If you don't fucking believe me, too bad for you. But he was a nice guy to talk to. But it was like, this is not really Queensryche. And then what Queensryche was doing without Jeff Tate is not really Queensryche. And I'm sorry, any Queensryche without Chris DeGarmo is not Queensryche. And now Scott Rockenfield, the original drummer, is not with him anymore, and that ended with more lawsuits. So at this point, it's only two original fucking members. And they're still going, and it's like this. Guys, I'm just not into it anymore. I like up to Empire. I am a fanatic.
Yeah.
And after that, it's just not the same.
Yeah. It's not an uncommon thing that happens all the time.
It does. It's unfortunately
a myriad of bands.
It's a story we've heard a million times.
Especially the suing and the this and the that.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, man.
It's a shame, but people, they change. I mean, we're talking about records put out by guys when they were in their 20s and hungry and had something to say, and then people's lives go in different directions. egos develop naturally.
Cocaine habits develop.
Cocaine habits can
oh, yeah.
develop. All kinds of habits
Alcoholism,
develop.
blah, blah, blah.
People just don't end up in the same place anymore.
Yeah, too many ex-wives. It's the whole thing.
But
Well, all right.
All right. That's good,
So in
Tommy.
other words, Tommy liked that record.
I fucking love this
this record.
album so much.
Yeah.
All right.
See,
Well, that
this
sums
is good.
it up.
This is good.
That's my Cliff's Notes. I fucking love Empire.
That's what he wrote on his notes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's only
All
notes.
right. Well, I fucking love commercials, and we got one right now.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to How to Pronounce. In today's video, we'll be focusing on a new word that you might find challenging or intriguing. So let's dive into today's word. Umlaut, which means a vowel alteration in German. Let's say it all together. Umlaut. One more time. Umlaut.
I'll be watching over you. Was in my head fucking all last night. And I was
night.
like, go away! Go away!
All you have to do is listen to some Ramones and imagine in your head that Joey has a push broom and he's sweeping out the other music that is stuck in your
Is
head.
that the technique?
That's what I do all the
Okay.
time.
Unfortunately, at that point in time, Joey would have been pushing it out with a push broom called Mondo Bizarro.
Yeah. No, you can't.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, well, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be of
You
that
can't attach
time.
it to an album. Just imagine him pushing whatever is in your earworm out of your head. Hello, hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
We're back.
All right, well, we're going to be getting out of here right now.
Yeah.
We've been discussing Queensryche, and now we're going to discuss getting out of here. And, well, thank you, everybody, for watching, and thank you for subscribing if you have. Maybe if you do, click the little bell for notifications if you subscribe. But maybe come back next week.
What's
If
happening?
you so choose, because we are going to be discussing and ranking our favorite, well, not our favorite, the entire catalog of the Cars singles.
Oh my
The
god.
Cars singles.
Look at those singles.
And it's a lot of
A
singles.
lot of singles,
Lot.
but yeah, 23, I believe.
Yes.
Yes, I said 23 when we did our ELO video. That's what was in my mind, was
Right.
the Cars list.
Yeah.
Yeah, so come back for that. We're gonna be discussing Cars singles till the cows come home.
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully we'll see you then.
Till the cows come home.
Till the cars come home.
Till the cars come home.
Okay. Yeah, something like that.
That's fine.
Something like that. Okay.
I can put this away. I don't even need notes.
You did not take notes?
Don't need them.
Well, I mean,
Not for this.
it's your own choice, so you probably, I suspect you know that record.
I'm gonna freestyle it.
You're gonna freeze it. Whoa.
Yeah.
Freestyle it.
How 1990
Yep.
of you.
I'm just gonna need you to drop me a beat, yo.
Yo.
Fresh off the Paul Bertolino rap album.
Drop me a beat.
Came out on
yo.
the same label that put out Rappin' Rodney, I'm sure.
Oh my god.
Yep. I guarantee you it's doper and fresher than either the D.D. King album
Ah!
or the Wendy O. Williams hip hop album.
Oh dear.
I'm DD Surf.
D.D. Surf.
D surf. Yeah.
All right. All right. Okay.
Ready.
What?
Ready.
Oh, okay.
Ready.
Sorry.
3, 2, 1.